Hi everyone and Happy New Year. It's Laura from Aquamarine 18 and I am here to participate in the 31 Days of Tarot for the first time. I'm sure that folks who are watching this video will already know that the 31 Days of Tarot is a activity, I guess, hosted by Ethony, and I'll link to her video below explaining the prompts, but it's a series of prompts that you can share on Instagram or YouTube for each of the 31 days of January. And it's been going for a number of years. And I've, dabbled in the 31 Days of Tarot on Instagram a little bit in the past. But this is the first year that I've had a YouTube channel, and I'm really excited to be participating in 31 Days of Tarot this year. There's a lot of interesting prompts for reflection and sharing, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what other folks have to share for their 31 Days of Tarot as well. My plan is to make an individual video and upload each day of the 31 days. If my work schedule or whatever gets too demanding, I may have to combine some of those, which I know some folks are doing, the first 5 prompts in one video, the second 5 in the next, for example. So I may combine some, but right now my plan is to actually make 31 videos. I am, just in the interest of transparency, not necessarily filming every single day, but I do intend to upload one video each day for the 31 Days of Tarot and answer all 31 prompts. So without further ado, the first 31 Days of Tarot prompt for today, January 1st, is to share what tarot-related goodies the holidays brought. So for this one, I just wanted to share it's actually not tarot related, it's oracle related. The one gift that I received that I think falls into this category quite nicely. I did have, a Kickstarter arrival around the holidays and things that I, purchased myself, but tarot goodies brought by the holidays to me, can mean gifts. So I just thought I would share that. And this is a gift that I put on my little wish list. My mom always wants some ideas around the holidays for potential gifts and goodies. So I had put these on my wish list, and I found them in my stocking at my parents' house. And that's the Literary Witches Oracle deck, which is written by Tasia Katiskaya, and illustrated by Katie Horan, and the companion, the older book, Literary Witches, A Celebration of Magical Women Writers. And this deck had been on my radar for some time, and being someone who reads a lot and reads predominantly text written by women, though not exclusively, who incorporates fiction and various kind of texts into my work in education. This deck appealed to me so much, and it has some authors that I've never heard of before and some that I know and love. So it had been on my wish list, and then my TarotTube friend Kelly Bear, and I'll link her video on this below, she decided that for 2020 she would facilitate a kind of book club wherein a different author who is included in the deck would be selected each month of 2020, and anyone who wanted to participate would kind of read a bit by that author, and then we would kind of discuss it in a live chat context, right? So this, I love a book club. I love talking about books with others. So this just kind of really nudged me even a little bit closer towards the Literary Witches Oracle, and really kind of sealed it that it was something that I wanted to have in my collection, even though really, let's be honest, for the reading group, you actually don't need the deck and the book at all. You just need texts by the authors, but obviously good reason to ask for a deck, right? This box is fantastic. Hardcover box, and it doesn't come wrapped in plastic, which is great. It feels linen-y kind of finish. There's a small guidebook with the Oracle deck, so you don't really need the bigger book, to work with this deck at all. Each card has the author's name, some keywords, a color image of the card, and a little write-up about that author. And then there are also some extra cards called the Witch's Materials, which are these different cards. They remind me a little bit of something like Lenormand. Cards that you could read with them. I'm still going to be figuring out how I want to work with this deck. But the cards come inside this kind of well inside the box. And I know I'm just sharing holiday goodies, so I'm not doing like a full walkthrough here or anything. But I figured I would just show some of my favorite cards from the collection. So the Witch's Oracle deck is this much authors and this much materials. I think there's actually a little bit more Witch's Materials than there are authors. There's the back. Very fitting for literary witches. They're big cards. They're kind of a linen-y finish. You can see the kind of weave of the paper, which I really love. I love the art style of this deck. There's something, I don't know, I don't know what this reminds me of, but there's something very slightly kind of eerie about it, witchy, you know, it's fitting. There are some very well-known authors in here, Emily Bronte, that I've read, and there are a number of authors that I have never read and never heard of, but I'm always looking forward to finding, of course, new authors, but I thought that I would just share a very few because there are some favorites in here. There's quite a few that I've read, quite a few authors that I've read, and for each of the authors I wanted to get the bigger book because what the bigger book does, which is useful for the reading group that we'll be doing, is that it includes not only a little bit about the author, but it also includes a recommended reading section with each text that's recommended, kind of a short description, right? So I just happened to open to one of my absolute all-time favorite authors is in this deck, and I was so happy for that Octavia Butler is included, and her keyword is the future. Octavia Butler is incredible. I've read virtually everything she's written, novels, short stories. Not quite everything because I'm like trying to stretch it out. You know, there's only so much. But Octavia Butler is so inspiring to me and such a incredible science fiction and fantasy author. Amazing. So there's a description for her in the book that reads, Octavia E. Butler, the daughter of a housekeeper and a shoe shiner, was a pioneer in the very white and male-dominated genre of science fiction. She received a MacArthur Genius Grant for her dark philosophical novels and stories which feature black female protagonists and explore power dynamics between sexes, races, and species. So they recommend time-traveling slave narrative, Kindred, novel starring an immortal shape-shifting African woman, Wild Seed, and violent, thought-provoking stories, Bloodchild and Other Stories, which is a short story collection. I've actually taught a story out of Bloodchild and Other Stories in my work as a university course instructor. The trilogy that's now called Lilith's Brood was originally published as the Xenogenesis trilogy, is one of my all-time favorite, absolute, top 5, no question, series of novels. So I was so excited to have Octavia Butler in there. And there's a lot of authors in here that I've heard of, some of which I've read, quite a few that we haven't. And we already picked, or not we, I should say, Kelly and Becca, who are hosting the reading group, already picked the author that we'll be reading the first for January. So we don't know yet, exactly what this will look like, but we have an author chosen and we have a text. So the cards were shuffled, and the author that was chosen was Farouk Farrokhzad, and I have not read her work at all. Totally new to me. But the keyword we can see is rebellion. And she's an Iranian author and poet. I've read a little bit about her now that I got these goodies for the holidays. And I picked up the book that we will be looking at, Sin, Selected Poems by Farouk Farrokhzad, edited and translated by Sholeh Volpe. and I haven't. I'm resisting because we said we would read it in January, but I'm very much looking forward to this. So that is my day one of my first ever 31 Days of Tarot reply for my goodies, my tarot-related, rather oracle-related goodies that the holiday brought was the Literary Witches Oracle and Guidebook. And I'm very grateful to my family for that lovely gift, and looking very much forward to engaging with these cards and the authors that they feature in the new year in conversation with other folks. Really, really exciting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 2 of 31 Days of Tarot. Bye.